Oh, hi, y'all. Welcome to Nikki's World, where my podcast show will give you viewpoints and insight that others will not give. I'll talk about like what's current, what's on the news, what is out there, and I will always cite sources and I always cite facts and news links so y'all know what I'm actually talking about. I give you my viewpoints and opinions, and if you want to hear what I have to say, what's on my mind and all that, I let y'all into my world and let y'all hear and listen to what I'm thinking and what's going through my mind. So if you love stuff like that, tune into Nikki's World twice a week, where you'll get 2-3 podcast episodes a week on what I talk about and what's on my mind. So thanks for listening, and let's get on with the show, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, y'all? Let's do this. Oh, hi guys. Welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today, guys, we gotta talk about the transgender cult again because they're now attacking South Carolina Representative Nancy Mace over her refusal to allow biological men in women's bathroom, including that Delaware congressman by the name of Tim McBride. So we got to talk about that and so much more. But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, seriously, can y'all please consider donating a cup of coffee for me? Because for a price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Cumberland Farms, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I am on locals, guys. If you guys want to support and sponsor Nikki's World, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, please hit that like, subscribe, please give me a review. Good, bad, and the ugly. Also, guys, I do have a bunch of affiliate links. First off is Minds.com. Minds.com is the alternative to Facebook. If you value freedom of speech and your right to speak freely without fear of censorship, you guys can join me on Minds.com. I also have a link to Burner.com. If you guys value your Second Amendment rights, your right to self defense, and your right to self defense in a less lethal way, you guys can buy a burner pistol in a link in the description below. And full disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen, I do own a burner LE pistol myself. And also, guys, I do have adult diaper referral link from North Shore Medical Supply. If you know anyone that needs adult diapers like I do, you guys can buy them in North Shore Medical Supply. Link in the description below. And before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, If you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, seriously, y'all, seriously, can y'all please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today? Woo, wow, guys, yeah, that is a mouthful, and it is Monday, November 25th, 2024, and it's Thanksgiving week. So, which means, guys, it's a week from a lot of stuff. It's time for the holidays and all that. It's time for me to unwind, relax a little, and then get used to all the other stuff and all that. Okay. So anyway, I want to talk about this thing that came up on my feed last week. I hadn't had time to talk about it because I was so busy with this week with school and social work internship interviews and all that. So I want to talk about this whole fiasco about Representative Nancy Mace out of South Carolina. There's a feud going on between like Representative Nancy Mace and Representative Tim McBride, and I'm not calling Tim by his preferred name because he is a biological man who claims to be a woman, because I am referring to him by his biological name because he is a man after all. He does have a Y chromosome. Okay, so I am referring to him by his biological name. So Tim McBride won a House of Representative seat in Delaware, but because he identifies as a woman, okay, he's demanding that he uses the women's bathroom, but because Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina is saying no. He's a man. He's a man who claims to be a woman. He should not be using the women's bathroom. If he doesn't have XX chromosome, he needs to go use the men's bathroom like every other man. So after that, the left, the transgender cult left, and a tranny Antifa wing had a hissy fit. They had their what? Man panties in a bunch, saying that, oh, Nancy Mace is a homophobe, a transphobe. She won't allow me to use the women's bathroom. Well, you know what? She has every right to, because she was a survivor of rape and sexual assault. She has PTSD. She don't want a grown ass man sitting in the women's bathroom next to her. And I agree with Representative Nancy Mace on this one, ladies and gentlemen. I agree. Why should a grown ass man who pretends, cosplays as a woman, demanding that they be allowed in women's bathroom, locker rooms, sports, women's schools, women's prisons? Why is that? Why is the 1% of the trans cult demanding the other 99% of the world pander to them, cater to them? And you know the people who pander and cater to them, ladies and gentlemen? It's liberal white women. Yeah, I said it. It's liberal white women who pander to these dudes who cosplay as women. The fact of the matter is, this is the issue that Democrats been trying to campaign on in this election. Okay, they were trying to campaign on this issue for far so long, ladies and gentlemen, that they've lost almost every major seat in Congress, and including in the state and local offices. They lost in that because people got sick and tired of having the transgender cult left telling them that they should bend the knee to them. They should allow them in women's bathrooms, women's locker rooms, women's only spaces. I'm like this. Are these people demanding the 99% bend the knee to them. What the fuck? To me, these people should not be catered to, coddled to. But in blue states like California and New York, and in New England states, oh, they bend the knee to these people. But in red states, fuck no, fuck no. Why are we coddling the 1% who constantly threaten, intimidate, harass, bully, dox, like deplatform anyone who speaks up against them? Why are we coddling these people? These people need to just be thrown back in the closet, told to shut the fuck up, and say like this: you don't get the right to dictate to the 99% of the world that you have to allow a biologically grown man with a 6-inch dick and a Y chromosome in the women's bathroom and locker room. You don't get to force your way in there. But the problem is liberals and their handmaidens in the Democrat Party, the leftists, the tranny Antifas, they bully people that. And now that Trump has won the White House, has won re-election, and we've gotten control of the Senate and the House of Representatives, yeah, it's time to put this issue to fucking bed. It's time to end this issue once and for all and say, no, we are not allowing men who cosplay as women in women's bathrooms and women's locker room. Now, for me as a libertarian, I would carve an exception for disabled people who have caregivers and for people who have a biologically, medically diagnosed intersex condition. Now, a lot of trannies will try to say, oh, I'm unisexual. Well, then, here's my rule. Where's your DNA test? Where's your genetic test? I want to see a DNA karyotype. And you know what's funny, ladies and gentlemen? These are the same people who think it's okay for Senator Elizabeth Warren, aka Pocahontas, to claim and identify as a Native American, but when she took the test, the genetic test to find out if she had any Native American ancestry, it came back as one slash 1099th of ancestry, which means she had none. She had none. So it's kind of funny how the left thinks it's okay for men to cosplay as women, how the left thinks it's okay for men to go into women's locker rooms, women's bathrooms, women's changing rooms, women's sports, women's teams, stealing women's awards, accomplishments, women's prisons, and all that. But then, but then but then they don't demand like, oh well, if you want to go in there, you got to show us proof or some legitimate claim. But they don't. They think that if a man identifies, then they should be allowed in society should bend the knee. No way. No. No. Come in. No. 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 We are not going. We are not doing that. We are not. See, for me, guys, as an intersex DSD person, okay, as someone who has Kalman syndrome, I would be okay going into women's bathroom and women's locker room, okay, because I live in New England. I live in the New England states, okay. They allow that exception because intersex DSD is considered a biological medical condition. It's not a sex, gender identity, and sexual orientation like the left and the trans cult loves to make it, but they just don't read science and then they just don't take up genetics or basically anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 book. So they've never taken that. The reality is, ladies and gentlemen, the reality is that you got some of these like trans cult members who claim to be women, cosplay as women. They try to dress up like women, but then they look like they try to look like their image of their porn star. The problem is, guys, is that these dudes who think they're girls, their male behavior shows up readily. I could even see it from down there, from up the hill where I live, and see a predatory male behavior from a mile away. The fact is, these dudes who cosplay as women have their panties in a bunch because some woman by the name of Representative Nancy Mace said no to them, and now they're threatening to go after her. She's been getting death threats on her voicemail. Even some trainee Antifa in Portland has threatened to beat the living shit out of her. I go like this: if we had a functioning, normal law enforcement, these people would have been in fucking prison by now. These people would have been locked up in prison, not allowed to have any surgery whatsoever. And they would be banned from ever owning a gun, which in fact it is a felony in federal law to be mentally ill and owning a gun, which is a felony, you know. But the fact of the matter is that you have Democrats who are basically using this as their campaign, and basically their hill that they're dying on. It's like, I would say this to the Democrat Party, the left, and the liberals: go ahead, defend the men pretending to be women. You're going to lose constantly in local, county, state, and federal elections constantly. Keep using that as your campaign or as your your hill to die on. Keep using that because you're gonna lose on the campaign trail. You're gonna lose every seat, hands down. You're gonna lose instantly. Because people like me are gonna sit there and go, we're all fine for you being you. But if you wanna use the bathroom, there's the gender neutral bathroom available for you, which is AKA called the family bathroom, or you can go wear adult diapers for all I care. The fact of the matter is, these trans cult leftists, many of whom are men who cosplay as women, okay? Many of them, they often love to threaten, dox, intimidate, bully, harass, hound anyone, including Representative Nancy Mace, for standing up to them, for saying, no, we are not allowing you in. No, we are not letting you use the women's bathroom. They do. There's a lot of videos out there, even on TikTok, where you got clearly biological men with male pattern baldness and a 5 o'clock shadow who cosplay as women, saying that I'm going to use the women's bathroom and locker room whether you like it or not. And if you get in my way, I'm going to pound you. Well, you know what? That's threatening. That's threatening and intimidation. That's a crime in most jurisdictions. That's a crime that these trans cult members constantly do online by threatening and intimidating people that refuse to bend the knee to them, refuse to call them by their like make believe name. The fact of the matter is, I agree with not Representative, Speaker Mike Johnson saying a man's a man, a woman's a woman. That's it. End of story. End of story. A man's a man, a woman's a woman. Any man who pretends to be a woman is a man, regardless of what he calls himself, what he identifies as. It's that simple. It's that simple. Representative Nancy Mace and all the biological women and young girls out there have rights. Their rights should not be usurped over the feelings or delusions of a man who claims to be a woman. Their rights should not be usurped, should not be trampled, should not be pushed aside. That's why you see a lot of radical feminists siding with conservatives, with Trump supporters, MAGA supporters, purely on this issue. You see it because you know why? A lot of commonalities right there. A lot of libertarians, independents, Republicans, and MAGA members all agree women's rights do matter. Now, women have a right to their own spaces, to their own sports, their own teams. They have a right to that. We agree on that principle. Okay? We agree. That's why you see a lot of feminists are starting to side with the MAGA community, with the libertarian, with the independents, conservatives, and Republicans, saying, "Yeah, we agree on that issue." Is that we don't want men who pretend to be women, like demanding their way into women's bathrooms, locker rooms, and all that. Yeah, we don't. And it makes me wonder, ladies and gentlemen, makes me wonder, why is it that a lot of these trans cult members, they all demand, bully, threaten, intimidate docs, like anyone who says that, oh, if you don't let me use the women's bathroom, women's locker room, and all this, oh, I'm going to get you canceled and all that. Why are you fighting for that kind of space? Why? Is it just that you want to force everyone or the 99% of the population to pander to your fetish, to your mental illness, to your delusion? Is that what you really are trying to accomplish? You're trying to force people who don't want anything to do with you to pander to your fetish? This is why the left is so unhinged, ladies and gentlemen. This is why the left is so unstable. This is why they are so unhinged. They are. The fact that they are trying to force the 99% of the population on this third rock from the sun to pander to their fetish, their mental illness, and to say that, oh, men are women, women are men, oh, men can get pregnant, men can breastfeed. No, 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 that's basically telling everyone they have to lie to appease the mentally ill one percenters. That's not how the world works. That's not how it works in this third rock from the sun in this Milky Way galaxy. That's not how it works. But the left, who basically like are the trans cult's handmaidens, they push that for them. And I often tell people like this: once you see this, ladies and gentlemen, you can never ever fucking unsee it. They often gaslight you. And what's gaslighting, ladies and gentlemen? It's lie often, lie confidently, isolate people from the truth. Once you see that, ladies and gentlemen, you can never unsee it ever again. Because once you see how they gaslight everyone who won't bend the knee to them, you can't unsee it. You can't, ladies and gentlemen. You can never unsee it, no matter how hard you try. And I tell people this, wait, folks, you can never ever unsee it. You can never. I mean, how many times as an intersex DSD person, I have seen how the trans cult often love to gaslight the living effing motherfucker out of me because they think like this, oh, Kellerman syndrome is not intersex. But then they go around like lying to their teeth that PCOS is intersex. That's why I tell people like this. Once you see them gaslight you, you can never unsee it ever again. They love to isolate people like me from the truth because they 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 don't want to face reality that yes, Kalman syndrome is an intersex condition. It is part of the intersex community because of genetics, because they don't want to see that truth. But then the problem is they do the same thing to feminists, to anyone who doesn't bend the knee to them, including Representative Nancy Mace, which on this podcast show, we wholeheartedly support. We wholeheartedly back and defend. We do, ladies and gentlemen. We literally do. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, the fact of the matter is, you have trans cult members who threaten, who dox, who bully, who intimidate anyone who won't bend the knee, anyone who won't call a biologically grown ass man with XY chromosome, a 6-inch dick, in a dress, a woman. In reality, he's just a biological dude with a fucking mental illness. And he should not be coddled. He should not be catered. He should not be told, "Oh, you're doing something brave, wonderful, and all this." No, you should tell him like this, dude. You have a fucking mental illness. You don't get a right to bully women. Okay, you don't get a right to this and this and this and this and this. Okay, you just because you identify as this and this and this doesn't give you special rights and privileges. Doesn't. That's why I think like this. States that allow the trans cult to fester are the ones that are going to lose constantly. They're going to lose in any election, whether local, county, state, or federal. They're going to lose in the worst way. They are, guys, and I tell you this: they're going to lose every time. Okay, they are going to lose. But I will say this, ladies and gentlemen. I will say this. Nancy Mace out of South Carolina has every God given right to say no to a biological man who cosplays as a woman from entering the women's bathrooms. She has every right to say, no, I don't want you in the bathroom with me. It's that simple. She has every right. So does every other woman and every other young girl have every right to refuse to pander to these mentally delusional dudes. They have every right. Okay? They literally do. They have every right. But then the problem is you have the trans cult, the left, the Democrats, and the liberals who basically have a hissy fit, who bully, harass, intimidate anyone who doesn't bend the knee to them. I go like this: fuck you, fuck off, and if you try to shove that in my face, I'm gonna shove you in the dumpster. So simple as that. It is. It is as simple as that. The fact of the matter is, people are starting to wake up and smell the goddamn coffee. Okay, that the Democrats have been using this to push their issue. Why do you think during the election, Kamala Harris was trying to push for sex change surgeries for prison inmates? Yeah, think about this. taxpayer-funded sex change surgeries for prison inmates in what? Local? In what? County? State? Federal prisons? For any prison inmate who claims to be a woman that that the that that Democrats want to force the 99% of the tax-paying public to fund for that. That's why she lost the election. People were like this. Fuck no. Hell no. Over my fucking dead body. Yeah. Think about that. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. That was Kamala Harris's campaign because she wanted to foist that on you, the tax-paying public and the tax-paying citizens. And how many taxpayers and working class people want their tax dollars to go for that? Not me. Not me. Hell no. Hell no. I got better uses. I want better uses for our tax dollars. I want better uses. Like, for example, fixing our roads, fixing our infrastructure. Okay? Fixing our crumbling infrastructure. Yeah, funding like putting money in the hands of the kids going to school, not funding the teachers. Simple as that. But not to pay for a grown ass man with a 6-inch dick and a Y chromosome and cosplaying and pretending that he's a woman. No, 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 and oh hell fuck no. That is a no for me, ladies and gentlemen. That is a literal no for me. And then I like this article from the Federalist, okay? Okay, and in this article I'm gonna put it here. You know Tim McBride, the man who claims to be a woman? This is essentially a Trojan horse, ladies and gentlemen, that the Democrats are gonna try to use to shove this issue down your throats. And I tell you this, once you see this, you will never, ever fucking unsee it ever again. You'll never, guys. You will never, ever fucking unsee it. The fact of the matter is, guys, you have the transgender cult left, including the Democrats and liberals, using the Tim McBride as a vehicle to shove their issue down people's throats, saying that, oh, you should allow men to use women's bathrooms, you should allow men to use women's locker rooms, you should allow men to compete in women's sports and in women's prisons and all that. No, no, and fuck hell no. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's a nope, 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 and oh hell fuck no. Yeah. And then also, guys, you got this one Democrat representative, okay, by the Massachusetts Representative Seth Moulton. He got scolded by his own party, saying, "Oh, you're a Democrat, but you won't defend men who pretend to be women." A lot of them are starting to get their rude awakening, or as I call it, waking up and smelling the goddamn coffee and seeing the whole fucking goddamn mess that's going on. Yeah, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is there are some Democrats like Representative Seth Moulton who are finally waking up and smelling the goddamn coffee and saying, "Look, he's got two girls that are in school. He doesn't want boys competing with his daughter in sports." I certainly agree with that. I certainly agree and justify that. Okay? That is justifiable and agreeable, ladies and gentlemen. That is. And then same thing with Representative Nancy Mace. Representative Nancy Mace has every right to say no to biological grown ass men entering women's bathrooms and locker rooms. Yeah. Now, as a libertarian and an independent and a New Englander, I go like this: men should not be allowed in women's locker rooms. Okay? If you're an intersex DSD person and you're medically verified and we can verify that on the medical documentation, then there should be an exception and an allowable, carved out exception. But not for the grown ass men who have a 6-inch dick and a Y chromosome. No, we should not allow them. We should not allow them. Even if they have the surgery, but they still have their Y chromosome. And this is what eludes the transgender cult left, okay, guys? This is what eludes them, is that they think that like people are too dumb and stupid not to notice that it's not a grown ass man in the women's bathroom. Isn't that a man with a with man hands like 5 o'clock shadow, an Adam's apple, a Y chromosome in the women's locker room? Democrats want you to be blinded and stupid to that. But look, the obvious common sense is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. The obvious. It's the mentality right there. It's the obvious out there. It is, ladies and gentlemen. It really fucking is. Yeah. So that's why the left is trying to push you to ignore. Oh, you ignore the chromosome. That's not science. That's not science. They want you to ignore common sense, ladies and gentlemen. This is why the Democrats are trying to push that. They're trying to say it's just suspend your reality and pander to these guys. No, no. And people like AOC, I go like this: AOC, shut the fuck up, asshole. Shut the fuck up. If you're okay with men in women's bathrooms, I want you to go into the bathroom with a man who identifies as a girl. And you tell me how it feels. And then at the same time, why don't you go ask your mom if she's okay with a biological man who cosplays as a woman going into the women's bathroom with her? Ask your mom how that feels, AOC, and then come back and tell me, okay? And please do come back and tell me. Yeah, please, 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 please tell me. Tell me, because I would love to hear what AOC thinks. I would love to. Because AOC is that kind of special stupid. And she's basically a DEI hire because she didn't earn it. And then at the same time, she's that kind of special stupid that, in my opinion, she should never been allowed into Congress, let alone college. And she's an example of why people like her should never be allowed in Congress, let alone college. Okay, she should never in the first place. And this is why, guys, I'm gonna say like this before we move on. If Democrats are going to keep pushing the issue of allowing men in women's bathrooms, women's sports, women's only spaces, and if this is their hill they're going to die on, you're going to lose every fucking election for the next 100 years, Democrats. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. You're gonna lose every election in the next 100 years, and every Republican, conservative, libertarian, independent, okay, is going to use that against you, and we're going to win by a fucking landslide. So go ahead, Democrats. If this is your hill you're gonna die on, go right ahead, because you're gonna lose royally. You're gonna lose like no tomorrow. You really are. Yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about this next issue. I want to talk about this next article that came up on my feed this morning. And this comes from the New York Post. Elon Musk slams idiots making the costliest manned F-35 fighter as he prepared to slash cuts. Dear Elon Musk and Vake, please, please, for the love of God, please just cut the bloated military out. Please, please, just go through the military like a fine tooth comb. We got so much bloated shit in the military that needs to be slashed, that needs to be cut, that needs to be like truncated, and basically like this, make it cost efficient. The F-35, guys, is a bloated program that was started in the 1990s as a replacement for, say, a multitude of fighters like we had in the 90s, like the F-16, the F-4 Wild Weasel, the FA-18. Okay, we had we had multiple programs like that to try to replace that in one aircraft. So the F-35, guys, along with the X-32, was a competition to replace the F-16, F-18, and for the Marine Corps, the AV-8B2 Harrier. They wanted one aircraft that can do all three for the price of one. But the problem was, guys, they started tacking on this. And then it went from an original program to replace to for one aircraft to do all three, okay, which back then was like during the Vietnam era was the F4 Phantom, okay, and then now they're trying to do that to the the to the F-16, FA-18, and the Harrier, and then do that in one aircraft. It became a bloated money pit. Yeah, it became a bloated money pit for a lot of defense contractors because they saw that as their money maker. They saw that as a way to make money to basically say like this. Oh, this is going to keep me employed. This is going to keep me employed till I fucking retire and all this shit and all this crap and all this and all this and this and this. Now that Trump is in office, ladies and gentlemen, now that he's in office, he's basically cutting. He's basically telling Vake and Trump, do what Malay did in Argentina to America. Do what the Argentine president did in America. Cut the pork, cut the fat, cut the useless, wasteful government spending, cut the programs that aren't working, that are like this. Why are we funding this shit? Why are we paying for this? Why are we paying for something that isn't delivering as promised, that isn't working? Elon Musk and Vake, please go after the LCS for us. Please, for the love of God in all its decency, please go after the LCS. The LCS is like the F-35 of the sea, okay? Because the LCS was designed to replace the frigate back then. And then what happened was it became a bloated government, like bureaucrat money pit. Yeah, where retired admirals and generals wanted to just keep funneling money so they could retire with a nice paycheck and a nice mansion somewhere. Yeah, that's what it became. And now that like Elon Musk and Vake are running Doge, which is what a department like government efficiency, trying to make sure that everything that we can trim the government fat, make it more efficient, and make it less bureaucratic. Hell, fuck yeah! It's time to cut the pork. It's time to cut the wasteful government spending. It's time to cut the government fat. It's time to say like this: fuck you, hell no, hell to the fuck no. No, 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 no. Yeah, and it's time to like say like this to the F-35 program: stop putting all this bloated shit onto an aircraft. Okay? Stop. Just stop. The problem was with the F-35 program and also the LCS program, ladies and gentlemen, it was that they wanted one ship to do the jack of all trades. Same thing with the F-35. They wanted one aircraft to do virtually everything in the book. And that's impossible. You're never going to get an aircraft to do everything, okay? But then these visionaries at the Pentagon wanted to do the same thing. That was the same thing with the M2/3 Bradley fighting vehicle, and I believe there is a movie out about that, guys. How it became so bloated, so inefficient, and all that. It became so bloated that it's why the M2 M3 Bradley is like the F-35 of every, okay. So that's why like this. Elon Musk, when he wrote this tweet, he said the F-35 design was broken at the requirements level because it was required to be too many things to too many people. This made it an expensive, complex jack of all trades, master of none. Success was never set of possible outcomes. Thank you, Elon. We needed someone to say that clearly. And I say this to President Trump. Please, for the love of God, after Elon Musk is done like cutting the fat and pork out of the government, please make him director of NASA. Please, for the love of God and all decency. You know what I mean? And I like this like paragraph right here. Musk has long argued that the Martin Lockheed Martin fighter jets are headed towards obsolescence. The richest person in the world, who has a net worth of 33 2.5 billion according to Forbes, have argued that the drone warfare is the future. Specifically, he has called fighter jets that are remotely controlled by humans with the capacity for autonomous maneuvers. hmm the thing is like this. People who wanted to put so much into this plane, success was never going to be the outcome. Look at countries who built similar planes to the F-35, like the twin, the Typhoon, the Rafale fighter, and the Saab Gripen. They wanted success. They didn't want a plane to be many things, and they realized that technology was going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, make it more efficient. So they built that plane to grow with technology. But the F-35 was built to grow with people and not technology. Yeah, it's that simple. But I have to agree with Elon Musk, man. I have to agree with him. It's a shitty design. It's it, it's a bloated program, and it's time to cut the fat or cut the F-35, cut our losses, and say go with something more conventional like the Super Hornet or the Block 70 F-16, or better yet, revive the F-16 XL. It's that simple. It really is. Yeah, it's really that simple. It's time to revive the F-16 XL and then build on the F-15 EX and build on the Super Hornet and build on the like F-16. Why are we spending on a program that isn't giving us what we want in results? The only result it's giving is lining the pockets and books of generals, admirals, and executives like say at Lockheed Martin. Yeah, it's that simple. It is. It really is, guys. It really is. So anyway, I want to talk about Blue Sky for a moment. Okay, Blue Sky has become the Twitter slash alternative for leftists, liberals, and basically Karens and trans cult members. It's become a haven for that, and it's also become a haven for for porn bots like fans idiots, and basically for anyone who is not of normal common sense. I want to talk about that, guys. The fact is, guys, the fact is that Blue Sky has become what we on the right have always had, which is alternative social media platforms like Gab, MeWe, Minds, Getter, Rumble, Truth Social, and Vero Social. Yeah, we ever in the beginning, guys, when the left started kicking out conservatives like libertarians, Republicans, independents out of liberal social media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, the big four back then. We said we didn't cry, we didn't have a hissy fit, we didn't complain. We started building our own alternative social media ecosystem. And then the left laughed and mocked at us for saying, you guys have your own echo chamber. Ha 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 ha. Now Now turn the clock to now 2024. Donald Trump wins re-election to the White House. The left is having a hissy fit because Elon Musk, who owns Twitter slash X, is in bed with Donald Trump. Now the left is having a hissy fit and going, I don't want to be on Twitter anymore. I don't believe in Twitter because Elon owns it. So you know what happens? Now they migrate to Blue Sky, which is owned by Jack Dorsey, who was the previous owner of Twitter. And he's using the same old rules that he imposed in Twitter against conservatives and bringing that to Blue Sky. Yeah. And then the left is like saying, huh, we're leaving Twitter slash X for Blue Sky. And then I go like this. Uh-huh. We did the same thing, and you guys mocked at us for being on Gab, MeWe, Minds, Getter, Rumble, True Social, and Vero Social. You guys mocked at us for it. And now we built a powerful alternative social media ecosystem. And now the tables have turned and you guys are doing the same thing that we did. Folks, I been on Blue Sky. I have an account on Blue Sky. I spy on these people. I try to see what's going on, what's happening here, what they're doing, what they're talking, what they're saying. And some of these leftists, they circle jerk with each other. They circle jerk saying, "Oh, you're not Asian enough. You're not trans enough. You're not intersex enough. You're not you're not feminist enough." And then these are the same people who did the same thing on Twitter slash X, and they're doing it on Blue Sky. And then these are the same people who post porn, porn ads and post sexually suggestive material that would normally get them fucking arrested. Yeah, it dawns upon me how these people would laugh, mock, bully, harass, and intimidate people like me for having alternative social media platforms. But now that they're doing the same thing we did, we're mocking them for it. We literally are. We're laughing at them in their face, saying like this: "Welcome to the party, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you're doing the same. You're doing what we did when we got booted out of YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. What did we do? We didn't cry and complain. We did the capitalist thing and built our own social media platform, built our own alternative presence. This is why I say like this, ladies and gentlemen. Every time Facebook, Instagram blocks me, suspends me, or downgrades me, that makes it like where my post doesn't get seen by a wide audience. I don't cry. I don't complain. I go like this: "Screw you. I have alternative social media platform. I can go on there and then I get a wider audience than than the narrow audience." But Blue Sky has become a haven, ladies and gentlemen. It has become a circle jerk, okay, for leftists. Yeah, it's become so divisive that it's not even funny anymore, guys. It isn't. It isn't, guys. It's not even funny anymore. It's become like the circle jerk on X slash Twitter, where you still have some leftists who will circle jerk over agreeing over almost everything. Yeah, now Blue Sky has become their own echo chamber, the leftist echo chamber. And the surprising thing, I'm just sitting there with my beer and coffee in my diaper, t-shirt, onesie, and passy, and then watching them like have a hissy meltdown and come and watch and have and being entertained and watching the meltdown ensue. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you guys this, guys. I'm telling you guys this. Blue Sky is destined to fail and collapse. It's going to collapse under the weight of its own division. It is going to collapse under the weight of its own, like, basically porn, smut, fetish, kink, and all that shit. It's going to collapse under its own weight because Blue Sky inadvertently allows like porn ads and basically like adult porn that would be banned on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram. It would be banned immediately. And Tumblr. It would be banned. Sorry, guys. It would. But on Blue Sky, you see it so much that I've often had to report and block like porn bots, spam bots, and basically like people posting like porn that makes me question: are these pedophiles? Are these groomers on here? Yeah, Blue Sky is going to collapse under its own weight of smut porn and division and divisiveness. It's going to collapse, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm telling you guys right now, I'm on Blue Sky to watch them collapse. And when they collapse, oh, it's going to be glorious. It's going to be like mwah, to watch them collapse under their own weight of leftism and sheer stupidity. It is, guys. It really is, and that's why I go like this. Let them collapse, guys. Let them collapse. Okay, let them. So today I want to talk about this like executive order that Trump's going to impose when he gets into office on January 2025. He's going to sign an executive order saying that like transgender individuals are banned from military service. Hell fuck yeah. If you if you if you require medical care to join the military to be deployed, we don't want you. You're a liability. You're basically you're basically a walking liability for everyone else that's deployed. You got to remember, the United States military is a global military. We deploy constantly everywhere around the world. And there's a reason why there are physical standards, medical standards to join. Because we deploy globally. And as a result, ladies and gentlemen, we can't have we can't have people who require medications constantly while deployed, say, somewhere in the Pacific, the Persian Gulf, the Red Sea, or or the Atlantic Ocean. We can't constantly have supply ships bringing your medications, ladies and gentlemen. We just can't. And that's why I like this. I agree with Donald Trump in banning transgender people from the military. I totally agree. Okay. I totally agree because we're deployable military. There's no stopping just to get your medication and all that. That's why in boot camp you can't take medications while you're in basic training. Okay, you can't. So that's why they ban people like that. But you know the funny thing is during the Brandon administration, he allowed transgender people in the military. Yeah, but then at the same time bans people who have ADHD meds from joining as well. Yeah. So this is why I certainly agree. And as an intersex person and full disclosure person, I am a member of the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary. And full disclaimer, they have no say in all this. Okay, but I will say this. I will say this. If a transgender person wants to serve, active duty, reserve, or National Guard, there's no way for them to serve. If they want to serve, sure, the state guards, state militias, okay, the state militias, the Coast Guard Auxiliary, although the Coast Guard Auxiliary may be questionable because there are some jobs in the Coast Guard Auxiliary that you do deploy with the Coast Guard, so that is a questionable. Or the option is Civil Air Patrol. The U.S. Air Force Civil Air Patrol is another one. So that is a question. But state guards like the California State Guard, Texas, or New York. I know New York and California have state guards and state militias. So if transgender people want to serve in that, go ahead. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Because you know why? State guards by law cannot be deployed outside of state lines and cannot be deployed federally. So go right ahead if they want to. But I do agree that banning transgender people from the military is the right thing to do because we have global commitments. We can't airlift your medical supplies while deployed. I'm sorry. Yeah, that is reality. That is. Okay? That is reality. And I do agree with President Trump and what he wants to do on this one. I do totally agree and support this one. Okay? But I also think if you're trans, you want to serve, state guards, state militias, and civil air patrol would be your best option because they're not deployable assets. You cannot be deployed overseas. You can only be deployed statewide, and that's it. It's that simple. Okay? It's really that simple. But I do think like this, ladies and gentlemen. I do think like this. If you the only reason these trans people want to serve is because they want the federal government, aka the taxpayers, to fund their sex change surgeries, to fund their medical treatment. When it was like this, when we're a deployable military, we can't we can't be stopping everything just to for you to take your inhaler, just for you to take your hormone medication. We can't be doing that. We can't, ladies and gentlemen. We can't. This is why I like this, folks. This is why our military exists for a reason. Because we fight globally. We're not like what? Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, the Irish that have transgender people in the military that don't have global commitments like we do. We're not like them, okay? We're not. That's why our military is built differently, okay? So that's why I agree with Donald Trump in his stance on that. And that's why I agree that any of these trans people that want to serve should only serve in state guards, state militias, you know what I mean, or the Civil Air Patrol. That's it. Because they're not deployable. They are not a deployable military. They're not a military that can be deployed at any given time. They're not. And this is why I'm all for it, guys. This is why I'm all for it, and I support it, and I wholeheartedly support it as an intersex DSD person. I fully do, guys. It's something. It is something I do. All right. So anyway, guys. Anyway, it's been a good show. Wow. It's been a good show. It really has, guys. It really has, man. It really has. Man, it's Thanksgiving week, guys. I just want to let y'all know. So if you don't hear me podcasting during Thanksgiving week, it's because I'm working Thanksgiving and I'm spending time with the family. So I just want to let y'all know that. And then I'm getting ready to complete my grad school, complete my degree, and then get ready to start my social work internship. I'm not telling you where I'm doing my internship, but it is an internship. So I am doing that. So I appreciate that from y'all. So if y'all understand, that's great. Okay. I appreciate that. All right. So, anyway, I thank you guys for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I got to go do a diaper change. I will see y'all soon. Bye for now. You just listened to an episode of Nikki's World. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.